Now let's summarize the chapter in detail. In brief, what are the things we have discussed in this chapter? So first of all, the thing that we discussed is about the type of reproduction. So that is of two types, asexual and sexual. Asexual reproduction is basically in which only one parent is involved, and this is further divided into different types. First one is vegetative propagation, second one is budding, third one is fragmentation, and fourth one is spore formation. So vegetative propagation, budding and fragmentation is done by the vegetative parts itself, where the parts are like roots, stem, buds, etc. And in the spore formation also we have seen the spores. So that is how the asexual reproduction is divided into different types. But in the case of sexual reproduction, as we know that two parents are involved, or this is done by the reproductive part of the plant, which is flower. And again we have seen that flowers on the basis of presence of reproductive part are further divided into two types, unisexual and bisexual. Unisexual is basically a flower which have either of the part, either pistil or stamen. But in the case of bisexual flower, both the parts are present, stamen and pistil, for the process of reproduction. After that, we have discussed pollination, which is the first step of reproduction. In this, what happens? The pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the flower. Again, this is divided into two types. First one is self-pollination, second one is cross-pollination. In self-pollination, what we have seen that the pollen grain transfers from anther to the stigma of same flower. But in the case of cross-pollination, what happens? The transfer of pollen grains from anther takes place from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. But the condition for that is both the flowers should be of same species, then only the further process of fertilization will take place. Otherwise, after pollination, no fertilization will take place if the transfer of pollen grain took place in different flowers. And at last, we have discussed about the seed dispersal. Now, as the pollination took place, and after that fertilization completed and seed and fruits are formed. Now for the production of new plants, what the plant need to do is it need to disperse its seed so that new plants can be formed. And for that we have different agents. One is water, wind and animal. The fruits or the seeds that are transferred, or we can say that are dispersed with the help of water, were spongy and fibrous so that they can easily float on the water and can reach from one place to another for the process of formation of other plants. But in the case of wind, the seeds were winged and are of lightweight so that they can easily transfer with the help of, or they can easily move with the help of wind. But in the case of animals, the seeds were of spiny shape so that they can easily stick to the body of the animals or insects. And when these insects or animals move from one places to another, what happens? They fall at different places, and wherever the seed get the favorable condition, there we can see the growth of a new plant. So that is how the reproduction plants can be seen.